deltoid muscle in the torso is 536, right there. Now the deltoid muscle on the arm, now remember this arm is upside down, well, upside down, it's reaching up into the air. The deltoid muscle on the arm right there is 7. So 7 on the arm and 536 on the torso. That's the deltoid muscle. And you do have to know what it does, and what it does is it flexes the shoulder, extends the shoulder. All right?
So Jeff, that just means like go like that, like flex and extend.
This is flexion pulling it in, and extend is pulling it back. It also abducts. You can say abducts because the deltoid helps do that too. So abducts the arm. The teres major, back here, you have some muscles back here. I'll name them all eventually. Kind of like the rhomboids that you learned before. You guys learned rhomboids before? Kind of like the zygomaticus major and zygomaticus minor. It has nothing to do with superior inferior. Matter of fact, the zygomaticus major is inferior to the zygomaticus minor. The zygomaticus major is 539. I'm sorry, the teres major is 539, and the teres minor is 538. So teres major, teres minor. Teres major, teres minor. All right? And I wrote teres minor. I wrote 8. Where did I find 8? Let me see if it's on here. I will tell you that it's on here, but I don't see 8.
Yeah, it is right here.
This is the major, and it looks like a 3 to me. I don't know why I wrote 8 on my key. Maybe one of these models, the 3 looks like an 8. That's the teres major. That's the teres minor. Major, minor, major, minor.
What number is not? What number?
The minor is, I can't tell, maybe a 4. Let me look at another arm. The number's in there, I can't tell.
Yeah, it's a 4.
It's a 4?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here's the major. Here's the minor. Here's the major. Here's the minor. These are the teres muscles. All right. Okay, the infraspinatus, supraspinatus, and subscapularis. Really easy. So here's the scapula, right? Here's the spine of the scapula. Now this trapezius muscle has been cut. In the suprascapular fossa, let me start here. Let me do the hard one. Between the scapula and the rib cage, right here, is the subscapularis. That's the subscapularis. That's between the scapula and the rib cage. So when you're looking from the back here, you can't see the subscapularis. It's between the scapula and the rib cage. And I wouldn't try to figure out if I could see it in here because it's just all a bunch of red stuff. But you can see these other two. This is the infraspinatus right here. Right here. Infraspinatus is 537. Infraspinatus is 537. Infraspinatus on the arm model is number 2. Now the supraspinatus, be very careful of. What number is that, Kendall?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe a 3, 5.
The supraspinatus, we can't really make out the number. It's right here. Now be careful. Here's what you have to be careful of. This is the supraspinatus. It's above the spine of the scapula. Is that the supraspinatus? No, that's the trapezius muscle. Notice that my trapezius muscle on this arm has been cut. So the trapezius has been cut so I can see the supraspinatus. Supraspinatus, infraspinatus, subscapularis. For the supraspinatus, we can't tell. It looks like a...
It looks like a 1 on this.
7 or a 1.
This is large.
Oh,
Yep.
maybe, yeah, that's a 1.
Okay, I guess a 1.
From this angle, yes.
I guess a 1. And then infraspinatus is a 2, and subscapularis is a 6 or a 9. I can't tell. I mean, 6 or a 9. I can't tell if it's upside down or upside down. You guys know I hate these numbers.
6.
6? Okay.
Ours has 6 from the dust.
All right. So those are those muscles. All right, the scalenes. There's 3 heads to the scalenes. Scalenes are over here. Oh, good. You don't have to worry about the 3 heads of the scalenes. Want to know why? You can't see all 3 heads. That's good. Here's the scalenes right here. This is the scalene muscles. It's right next to this, wow, I can't think of the name of that vein, clavicular vein. It's the subclavicle. It's right next to the subclavicular vein, right there. And the scalenes is 224. That's the scalenes. All right, scalenes right there, right by the subclavicular vein. All right. All right. What's next? Levator scapulae is right behind the scalenes. It's 225 right here. Levator scapulae elevates the scapula. Levator scapulae. 225. Yep. So scalenes is here, and then going posterior, they run into the levator scapulae. All right. Okay, the trapezius muscle is this muscle right here, which is 226. It's been cut. And you can keep filming here, but I want to check something else out. I want to show you something about that trapezius if it's shown. I don't know if it's shown. Well, it's not shown well. It actually goes down to the middle of my spine too, but it's been cut on this one too. The trapezius muscle makes a trapezoid. So the point of the trapezoid is the external occipital protuberance, and the bottom point of the trapezoid is down on your spinous processes. This makes a trapezoid, and it does hyperextension of the head or shoulder elevation. Now let's be clear about something. You guys know origins and insertions, right? If I do this with my trapezius muscle, my origin is my external occipital protuberance, and my insertion is the spine of my scapula. I just raised the spine of my scapula. But if I hold the spine of my scapula steady, and I go like this, the origin is the spine of my scapula, and the insertion is the external occipital protuberance. Do you see how I can change the origin and insertion of that muscle by changing which bone is held steady? So that's one case where I can change the origin and insertion. So that's the trapezius muscle. All right, next muscle. Did I give you the number? I don't remember if I gave you the number. 226. 226. Okay, latissimus dorsi muscle. These are your chin-up muscles. 541 right here. Latissimus dorsi. These help you. They're called the lats in the gym. The gym rats call them lats. You do those lat pull downs to strengthen, or you do chin-ups. Latissimus dorsi right there. 541. Biceps brachii. Everyone knows the biceps brachii, but guess what? You must say biceps brachii because there's a biceps femoris. Next week you'll learn the biceps femoris. So this is the biceps brachii right here. It's on the arm model. I don't have a number on mine. I don't see a number. I guess it's 9 in some of them. This is the biceps brachii. On the arm, make sure you write arm model for your thing. It's not on the torso. Okay, right underneath the biceps brachii, right here, is the brachialis. It's a synergistic muscle to the biceps brachii. Brachialis right there. It's 60, 19, well, I can't tell. 10? I agree, 10. Whatever that is. I do have a shoddy model. I can't see all the numbers. All right. The coracobrachialis. It goes from the coracoid process of the scapula down to the humerus. This is the coracobrachialis, and it doesn't have a number on my model. Coracobrachialis right there. Look at how it's coming from the coracoid process going down. Coracobrachialis. Coracobrachialis, biceps brachii, brachialis. Brachioradialis. I got to rebuild my arm really quickly. I took muscles off my arm. Now the brachioradialis, what it does is and I'll show you in a second. There's that. Does this even go to that? This goes like this. Okay, I'm going to show you like this. If you do a curl and your hand is fully supinated, then you're using your biceps brachii, and I'm putting pressure against that, and it's all my biceps brachii. And you don't see anything sticking out right here. But if you partially pronate your hand and do a curl, look at that stick out. That's the brachioradialis. The brachioradialis does flexion when you're partially pronated. The biceps brachii does flexion when you're fully supinated. So this is why when you go to the gym, you do curls when you're fully supinated, you hit your biceps brachii, then you turn and you do hammer curls, and it hits the brachioradialis. So if you go like this, you can see the brachioradialis stick right out. If you go like this, you can't because you're hitting your biceps brachii. So that's the brachioradialis. On the model, how does this go in? On the model, it's number 20. So it's this muscle right here on the model, brachioradialis. Now it makes sense. Bracho means arm, humerus. Radialis means radius, thumb side. That makes sense. That's the brachioradialis, number 20 right there. All right, the pronator teres. The pronator teres pronates. It goes like that. And the pronator teres is number 12. Although my key says, I don't know why my key says that. What's the key say for the big arm? I wrote 22. I bet you I was writing smaller. Yeah, pronator teres is right here. What I wrote is different. I must have been looking at a different key. Right there is a pronator teres. It pronates. Pronator teres is 12 right there. All right, the supinator is the opposite. And you look in here, and this is the supinator. Just let me check one other thing before I tell you a number. The supinator is 25. Any questions? And that'll pull your thumb back out. That supinates you. All right, now let's put this back together. Now comes the, it's not hard, but you have to pay attention to detail. Okay, what are we doing first? Flexors. I have these 3 flexor muscles right here. These 3 flexors. I'm running my fingers up and down them, right here. All right, so here's the 3 flexors. Ring finger, middle finger, pointer finger. Here are my 3 flexors. Let's do the first one first. Flexor carpi radialis is the thumb side. This is my flexor carpi radialis, and it's number 13. Flexor carpi radialis. By the way, you know what carpi means, right? Carpals. So it flexes the wrist on the radius side, thumb side. Flexor carpi radialis. The next one is the flexor carpi ulnaris. That's right here, and it looks like a 15 to me. This is the flexor carpi ulnaris right here. Right here. Flexor carpi, pinky side, flexor carpi ulnaris. And the next one is the palmaris longus, and that's number 14. Now I got to tell you something. Not everyone has a palmaris longus. So you're going to say, how do I know if I have a palmaris longus? Here's how you do it. You put pressure on your hand, you flex your wrist, like this, flex your wrist, and it's not funny. I don't know why you guys think that's funny. And you feel these tendons, and I can feel my flexor carpi ulnaris. I can feel my flexor carpi radialis, and then you look for one in the center. I have one. I have a palmaris longus. That's genetic. Not everyone has a palmaris longus. If you have 2 big tendons, when you put pressure against your wrist, 2 big tendons and no middle one, you don't have a palmaris longus. If you have 3 tendons in your wrist right there, you have a palmaris longus. It's really easy to see on people that have skinny arms. They have no meat on their wrist. They pop right out. All right, so that's the palmaris longus, and on the model, the palmaris longus is number 14, if I didn't give it to you yet. All right, the flexor digitorum superficialis, and you can also say sublimus. Flexor digitorum superficialis or sublimus. Okay, the flexor digitorum superficialis is number 24. Flexor digitorum superficialis. I hope I told you that the supinator was 25, did I not?
Yes.
Good. Because they look like they're the same muscle. They are not the same muscle. Flexor digitorum superficialis. It's, let me come show you. Yeah, I start taking these off. It's right here.
One's 24, but then they wrote 24 there. And that's
Where did they write 24? The same muscle. It's underneath those tendons. 25 is over here. Take this off. It's over here. Right there. Does that say 25 right there?
Yeah, yes, it does. All right.
Okay. Now, flexor digitorum profundus. Now, what you're going to do, you know, when you say something's profound, you mean it's deep, right? Profundus means deep in Latin. So, flexor digitorum profundus, you got to take off this superficialis. Flexor digitorum profundus. I don't have a number for you. I see it. I don't have a number for you. Is there a number on the large arm key? It's this muscle right here. There isn't?
I'm looking, I don't see it yet.
Flexor digitorum profundus. What did I write? I wrote 27 for some reason, but I bet you I could only find it on the small arm. Let me see if I can see it on the small arm. I'll bring it to you, Kendall.
There's nothing listed on it.
Aha! Look at right here. Be very, very careful. I did write a number because I found it on the small arm. So just so you guys can all see. Do you see how these are my flexor carpi ulnaris, palmaris longus, and flexor carpi radialis? These three. And then this muscle right here is the flexor digitorum sublimis or superficialis. I can see it. See? It's underneath those tendons. Now, if I remove the flexor digitorum superficialis, deep to that is this flexor digitorum profundus, and that is 27. That's why I wrote 27. I can only see it on the small arm. So for flexor digitorum profundus, write small arm and write 27. Because that's the only place I could find. Now, that's actually not even true. I can see it on the big arm, but it doesn't have a number. So I like it, and you guys like numbers. I like you to have numbers. So. All right, next. The flexor pollicis brevis. Flexor pollicis brevis. Whoa! Okay, this doesn't have a number. Doesn't have a number there. Okay, it's right here. Here's my flexor pollicis brevis. It's number 42 on the small arm. Make sure you write small arm. Now you got to be careful. And the reason why you got to be careful is because the thumb does more than one movement. This is flexion. All right? This is opposition. And there is a opponens minimus that helps to do that. The opponens minimus is not on this model. The opponens minimus is not on that model. And actually, I see the flexor pollicis on the big arm, and you guys with the big arm key, check me, it's 28. Yeah, 28 is the flexor pollicis brevis on the big arm. It's 42 on the small arm.
It looks like a 26, but it says 28. Right?
It looks like a 26 for you, but it's 28 on the key.
It's just faded.
Yeah, Andrew says 28 on the key. So.
It's just in the medial.
Okay, the next one. Oh, by the way, pollicis means thumb. What is big toe?
Hallux.
Hallux. Okay, you guys good. You guys know that. So, where are we? Flexor pollicis brevis. The triceps brachii is easy. By the way, since I have a small arm in my hand. It's 16 and 17 on the small arm. There are different heads to it. There's actually 3 heads. On the large arm, 11. Sorry. On the large arm, it's 11. You guys can see him like a bull in a china shop. Large arm, here's the triceps brachii. Now, you should say brachii because there is in the lower leg a triceps surae. Just like you should say biceps brachii because there's a biceps femoris in the leg. So just saying biceps and triceps is not good enough for anatomy and physiology class. because there's more than one biceps and more than one triceps. All right? So brachii means arm. This is the triceps brachii. This is the biceps brachii. And you have to say those. Did I give you the number? On the big arm, it's number 11. Or maybe 77. It's hard to tell. 11? Okay, so that's the triceps brachii. Okay, the anconeus. This is the one I was looking up when I started class. It comes right down in and attaches to your olecranon process. I couldn't see it. Well, I could see it, but I didn't have a number. And actually, it has a number, but what bothered me was that I wrote 33, and this looks like an 88. This is the anconeus muscle. Let me see if it's 33 on the small arm. I actually don't write 88 either. 88's not pointing to the anconeus muscle. But let me see what it is on the small arm. On the small arm, the anconeus muscle is, it looks like 18. Who has a small arm key on them? Right there. It's the anconeus muscle. The anconeus. I wrote, what did I write? I wrote 33. Well, I'm not seeing a 33. I don't know what key I was looking at. Right there. Now, take a picture of the book and I'll show you in the book. Right here's the anconeus. Where is it? See that? Right here's the anconeus. See right here? It runs underneath the brachioradialis and runs right through the olecranon process. It runs underneath the brachioradialis, underneath here. Oh, it is 33. I see the 33 now. It's right there. Right there. Yeah, it is. It's 33. I found the number now. I must have found it once before. It runs underneath the brachioradialis. Here's the brachioradialis. So I'm looking underneath. I went like this. I pick the brachioradialis up, and it runs to the olecranon process. And I looked right there, and there it is. There's the anconeus muscle. Right there. So you have to look at the brachioradialis first because it's underneath that, and then you'll find it. So erase all the rest of those numbers. 33 is the number. Right there. 53 was the tendon of the triceps. It wasn't anconeus. They're side by side, but that was the tendon of the triceps. It wasn't a muscle. And on here, I put my brachioradialis on there. Right underneath my brachioradialis. See, this doesn't have a number. That's the tendon. There's no number on this.
Yeah, I don't see it on the key.
Yeah, it's not on here, so. Okay, next muscle. Extensor, okay, now we're doing the extensors on the back of the arm, the dorsal side of the arm. Yeah, I think I need this on there for one of them, for two of them I do. Okay, so these are going to extend the wrist. Now these aren't as easy as the flexors, just so you know. All right? I have two extensor digitorum radialis right here. One's a longus and one's a brevis. I'm going to tell you in a second. I have one extensor digitorum right in the center. Goes right down the center. It's extensor digitorum. And I have this extensor right here, extensor carpi ulnaris. Okay? I'll go in order. 1, 2, 3, 4 muscles to tell you. The first muscle. Extensor digitorum is the one right in the center, right here. Yeah, it looks like either a 17 or a 77. I can't tell.
17.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing with this extensor carpi radialis brevis and longus. The longus looks like it's shorter. It does. See how that looks shorter? But it's not. It's longer. 19 is the longus and 18 is the brevis. Longus brevis. The reason why 19 looks shorter is because you're not tracing it all the way back to where it starts. It goes underneath the triceps. So this really is the longer one. Another way of thinking about this is the longus forms a tendon pretty quick, and you can see its tendon running right down to the thumb side. So that's the longus. All right. Did I go out of order? Yeah, I did. I did extensor carpi radialis longus first. And then, just a second, the extensor carpi radialis brevis is 18. So I got 18 is the brevis and 19 is the longus. 18 is brevis, 19 is longus. 18 brevis, 19 longus. And then lastly, I have the extensor carpi ulnaris. I'm not going by my numbers anymore. I think I did all small key. The extensor carpi ulnaris is this one right here. And Andrea, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like a 16.
Oh, wait, yeah, extensor carpi 16.
Yeah, extensor carpi ulnaris is 16. Extensor digitorum was 17. Extensor carpi radialis brevis is 18. Extensor carpi radialis longus is 19. Those are all those muscles. All 4 of them. All right, now they're the back of the arm and they extend your wrist. Okay, the next 2, I have to use the hand, the large hand that I just dropped. Okay, the first one, I'm using the extensor pollicis brevis. Extensor pollicis brevis. Now it's going to extend it, so you're looking back here. Right here. Right here is where it's numbered. It's number 47. If you imagine this muscle contracting, it's going to pull the thumb back. It's going to extend it. Extend it. So that's the extensor pollicis brevis right there. 47. And I actually wrote 47 before, so I believe myself now. Okay, now I have abductor pollicis longus. And I wrote 48. I'm not seeing 48 right now, but let me find it. It's going to abduct. It's going to pull the thumb out. It's going to be next to this extensor. That's a 6. That's a 1. Should be right here. That's not it. I don't see 48. I don't know why I wrote that.
It's the tendon. It says 48 is the tendon.
I don't see a 48 at all on a tendon or a muscle.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, there it is. I do. So you actually can't see the muscle. I don't like that. Let me see if I can find it on the arm. Because if I can't find it on the arm, I'm going to cross it off. This is the tendon to it. I'm not doing tendons and muscles. Which one am I doing? The abductor? It's not on this arm. Oh, it is. I can't see what these 2 numbers are, though.
The longest is 22, isn't it?
Are you looking right here and right here? Because my numbers are rubbed off.
Right here and then right here.
Yeah, same way. Yep, that's where you're looking.
22 and 23, excuse me.
Longus brevis. No, let me. 22, 23. Okay, Andrea, look at your key, because mine's rubbed off. Here's the abductor longus. The bigger one, 22.
Abductor pollicis longus is 23.
Yeah, the bigger one's 23, the wider one.
Oh, 23 is the wider one right here. Mine's rubbed off. That's the abductor pollicis longus right there. The wide one. My number's rubbed off, but Jeff can see his number right there. And then the abductor pollicis brevis is right there. It's the skinny one. 22, Jeff?
22, yes.
22 right there. So you can see them on the big arm.
This says brachioradialis is
22? Brachioradialis is way up here. Yeah, 20 is brachioradialis. I said 22, I think, unless I misspoke.
Oh, I'm sorry.
22 right here.
Extensor pollicis brevis, is that the same thing?
Extensor pollicis brevis is, it's column 22, extensor pollicis brevis.
I don't see the abductor pollicis.
Abductor pollicis longus. The second one. Let me see here. Abductor pollicis brevis. 47 is the extensor. Extensor pollicis. On this model, it's 47. And boy, do I disagree with that key. That's not the same muscle. Let's see what I'm going to do. Do we have a good number for the extensor, for the abductor pollicis longus, this fat one right here?
Abductor pollicis longus is
23, that fat one right there. All right, let me see where I'm at. extensor pollicus brevis. That's not the same damn muscle. Okay, do this, folks, for me. Extensor pollicus brevis, you have to look at the hand model. You have to. And by the way, feel free to compare these models together. You're going to see that this muscle is not the same as this one. Actually, now I'm starting to see it. It might be. So this is the extensor muscle right here. That's the extensor. All right? It's going to pull it back. You can see how that's going to pull it back. But what's going to abduct it, pull it out? Not back, but just out. And that's that muscle or this muscle right here. That's the abductor pollicus longus. All right? So I guess we'll do this. Let's cross off abductor pollicus brevis, because you can only see the tendon on the hand and you can't see it on the large arm. So cross off abductor pollicus brevis. The reason we're crossing off abductor pollicus brevis is because on the hand you can only see the tendon, and on the arm you can't see it. And then the abductor pollicus, make sure it's more than just a tendon right here. We might be crossing that one off too. 46, 49, 3. And cross off that one too. Just the abductor pollicus.
The adductor?
Oh, adductor. Don't cross that off. That pulls the thumb in. That's in the meat of your hand. That's in here. That's in here, and there's number. Doesn't have a number here. That's this muscle right here.
It says it's 30 on the other.
Yeah, it's right here. It's the meat of your hand. It's 30 right there. Right there. It's just the meat of your thumb.
Oh, right. Oh.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, yep.
That's the adductor. It adducts it. It adducts it. It's just the meat of your thumb. Now, I understand that all these models have different numbers and they all look a little bit different. You got to look at them all. And you got to talk your way through it. You got to say, is this the same muscle? And look at it and think about the movement. So there's the adductor. 30 on the big arm. I'd hate 43 on the little arm. It's 43 on the little arm. That's the meat of your thumb. 43 on the little arm, right there. 43. And on the hand, it didn't have a number. Unfortunately, it's there. It's right here.